This video is how to add widgets to your WordPress website. This could be super powerful. This can allow the client or you to update your website, parts of it right from your dashboard. That could be in the header or the footer PHP. It could be in the middle of the page as well, sidebars, so on and so forth. So to give you an example of what this would look like, I'll make this a little larger. Let's say that on this website, Cali Burrito wants to be able to update their own burritos in their footer, their own salsa, and add a social media element if possible, or update a link. So they want to be able to work in these areas, and as of now, we have everything coded into our footer.php, which is great. It looks aesthetically pleasing, but a client's not going to be able to do all this. They're not going to be able to download and open brackets and change elements. So this is a way that they can do this right from their dashboard. So on the dashboard, under Appearance, the third one down is Widgets. So these are widgets. They're kind of like little short codes that you can add. And by default, you'll have a sidebar. And the sidebar sometimes goes on the blog page, just in that sidebar. That was the default when they came up with the concept of WordPress. So I don't have anything in my sidebar, but what I want to do is I want to have a footer section 1, a footer section 2, and a footer section 3. And each one of these, this would be footer 1, this would be footer 2, and this would be footer 3, which would allow them to, say, add a picture of their burrito, or they could just add text. For instance, wild beef burrito and mango salsa. They could also do anything over here. Add a gallery, add a calendar. They could even add some custom HTML if there is some specialty stuff, like social media would be a great place for that. Or, you could add social media with just an image. So you can even add some short codes. So tons of options that you can do here. And I already set up my footer 1, 2, and 3, so you can kind of see I have text in each one, and I could do some custom HTML, or you could really add an image here and give it, let's say we wanted this to be our icon. We could add this and then link to Facebook. And do it that way as well. So that could be an option that you can either add the social media through the custom HTML, or you could do it with an image. All right, so that's it. I have content in these, so I'll show you how this is done. So what you want to do is go over to your FTP, into your child theme. So I'm in my child theme, and you can kind of see I have a footer, a header, a style sheet, and now we're going to add a functions, plural, .php. So I can right-click or go in a new file and add the word functions. I already did that. So after I have my functions.php, I can right-click on it or control-click and edit it with brackets. And I'm already giving you this code, so you can try this out. Again, it's a little bit of a long chunk of code, so I won't make you type it, but I want to go over what it is. So in here, what we're doing is we're registering a widget area. And you can see here you probably won't have this, but this is taken from a YouTube video that I watched about this. And we're going to create a function. So a function in PHP or in JavaScript is kind of a set of assets that you want them to play through. Almost like, say, a mixtape. So this is everything on the mixtape, and when we hit play, which is adding this text at the bottom, it's going to run through this entire playlist. So the name of our function is CI register _ sidebar. This can be any name you want. Usually it has something to do with the area or registering or initiate, but that could be anything you want. And then what we wanted to do is everything between these two squigglies, that one and this one, we want it to play through. So what it's doing here is it's registering a first sidebar, and it's going to be called footer 1. This is the name that comes up right here, footer 1. Then we're going to give it an ID. So this is what we can modify in our CSS. So it has to be lowercase, it has to have no spaces. This is CSS. So I put footer 1, again, keeping these consistent, a description of it, and then this is what it's going to be wrapped in. And this would be what is before the widget, so the name or the title. So for some of these, you can see here that you can give it a title. Now, I did not for either of mine, but if you wanted to, this is, I could just put this up here, and it would have that title, which we now know would be an H3 and have a class of widget title, which I can show you shortly. So this is one chunk. So what I did then is after I tested that out, it worked. So I added 2 more to have my other footer. So here's footer 2. I just changed the name 1, 1, and 1 to be 2, 2, 2. And then I did it again for footer 3. So I wanted to play through all 3 of these widgets and add them, which it did. I hit save. And I can come over here and in my widgets, you can see that we have footer 1, 2, and 3 added. And the last part that's very important is we want to add this action to play this function. Just because the function's sitting in functions doesn't mean it's going to actually play on your website. You have to add this add_action widget initiate and the name of the widget that you want to initiate, which is up here. So it's going to play through that playlist. All right, so that's all we have to do in actions for now. We copied and pasted that in. So I'm going to close that out. And the one thing we do want to do is, and we want to figure out where we want to put this. So do we want to put this in the footer or do we want to put this in the header? You could put it in either. Say you want a search bar in your header, this is how you could do it. You could make a widget for it, and then there is a search for your site that you can add here. Or if you wanted to just have some part in the header that they could modify really easily. So it could be in the header or footer. I'm choosing the footer for my columns, so I'm going to open this in brackets and show you how to add that second part, that it actually functions. So I put 1 in here to begin with, so I didn't have to retype this out. So wherever you wanted this widget to be, you have to have less than question mark PHP. So we're starting some PHP, and we're going to add a dynamic sidebar, and then you have to add the name of that sidebar. So I named it footer 1, footer 2, footer 3. It's the ID. So I'm going to add this to the second section. So under salsa, I'm going to add my widget 2. So I type this in. Checking my spelling. And in single quotes, I'm going to put footer 2, semicolon, spacebar, question mark, greater than. So it has this little chunk of PHP that uploaded. So I'm going to come back here and refresh. Hard refresh. Uh-oh. What did I spell wrong? Oop, I spelled dynamic wrong. You can see how sensitive this is. So let's try again. You can see how that one broke because I did not have it. And now it has that mango salsa under it. So it's getting the word mango salsa from my text here. And now I'm going to add the third one, which should have this little, I'm just going to copy and paste it since I typed it once now. That one's going to go in this third section. I might call it the third. Save that and refresh. And there you can see that social media button. And when I click on it, it will go to Facebook. So you can add images down here this way. You could add text. You could add calendars. You could add another navigation. This is how you could add your bottom footer. There is a, where is it? Oh, navigation menu. So you can add your nav bar to it. And these drag and drop over, or you can also click on them and then it'll give you an option of where do you want to put it. So super easy, super convenient. Use one in your website somewhere. It could add another element.